Hello again, folks. It's a lovely, if not slightly cloudy but sunny 17th of February 2020. Myself and Trey are getting together again now to pursue her podcast on her journey through trauma, and we're looking to build on the last one where we looked at challenging yourself and kind of doing the best you can to push on, but really having a go and trying to challenge yourself, and not for anybody else, just for you, with the view to helping yourself live a better life with that trauma. I think we mentioned last time it's never going to go away, but it can be alleviated, and that's what we're looking at.
Yeah,
now, the first question I want to ask Trey is the auditions for Baywatch. So how are they going, Trey?
Yeah, right. I can't do the slow running. I haven't got the slow running off.
Right.
In slow motion in the costumes with those red, the swimsuits. And I haven't got the props either, so I'm not really getting anywhere.
Yeah, so we're going to move on from the black bikini onto the red swimsuit.
No plunging, you could have the plunge.
Yeah, with a surfboard.
With a surfboard.
Yeah.
Or that thing that they throw in the water to boil them when they're saving somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, so anybody listen to this, it's irrelevant, the actual podcast, but I just thought I'd come in with that one. But it is crucial because a lot of people will look at the bikini as the sole focus of those posts.
Yes, I suppose I will look and think, what's this about? And why is she showing her bits off?
And what a bitch.
And I'm not showing all my bits off. However, there was a reason for the bikini.
So it's not a glamour shot then?
No. It's anatomy shots. Photographs of anatomy, and it's how my body is changing through my workouts, and how I track those changes and adapt my workouts. And it wasn't something I thought about at first. The first couple of years I was just trying to get stronger, and it wasn't until the third year when you started to mention about how I was physically changing. I thought, I hadn't really thought about that. And last year I've seen a big change. It was last year, and I kind of sprouted a wee bit, and I complained about I couldn't get my jeans and my clothes, and this is not on, and that's when I started to realise I had changed. And because I can't afford to buy more clothes, I decided I had to adapt my training to cut my limbs and body so I can get into my clothes. But I don't go and replace my whole wardrobe, because that's not what I wanted to do. So to do that, I had to take photographs with workout gear, but we couldn't see the full effect. So that's where the bikini came in. And I have not worn a bikini in donkey's years, because I'd never felt comfortable in one. So it was like, oh God, no, bikini.
So body awareness really, and again, I don't doubt that people will have their own ideas of why you put those pictures on of yourself in a bikini, and that's entirely up to them to think what they want to think. But we're looking at body awareness and being proud of what you've achieved, and also taking it to another level where you feel comfortable with yourself to be able to show that progression. Is that correct? Yes,
because if the page is about trauma, about how you get through. Now, this is how I'm getting through, and hopefully other people will look at that and think, right, okay, that's a good idea, I'll try something similar. But one of the things about trauma, and it always affected me, especially when I was younger, is I wasn't really connected to who I was physically as a person. I covered up, I didn't wear shorts very often. I definitely didn't wear a bikini. I think I only ever had one swimsuit, and it was only indoors in a sauna situation. I wasn't comfortable with myself physically. I didn't look at myself. I wasn't really aware of how I was. So being more aware of my body because of my training has had a positive effect on how I see myself, my personal image, which is connected to your trauma, because that's how you're brought through. You know, if you have trauma from a very young age, your personal image is pretty much shit by the time you get to, you know, a young adult. It's crap.
So just to be devil's advocate then, and we mentioned this earlier, anybody listening now that may be struggling with weight issues, weren't born with what you would say is a model-like figure because you were lucky genetically to get a particular kind of figure, although you've changed that now.
Yeah.
If they were listening and said, "Oh, it's not very well for you to say that, Trey, but you know, but you're a good-looking lass, and you know, you've got an athletic figure, and you've obviously made it better. You know, it's easier for you." What would you say to them?
No, it's not easy. When I was younger, I got told regular by men and women that I was anorexic, and did I buy my clothes out the child's section. That's when I was an adult. That's how I used to get. And I used to cover myself up because I didn't want people to see how slim I was. And now I was at a normal weight at that point, lower healthy weight. I wasn't underweight, so you can imagine what I got when I went underweight, when I became ill. It was dreadful. I mean, people say about not having to go with people who are overweight. I've had a lot of abuse towards me being underweight. Skinny, underweight, anorexic, eat more, your food bills must be low. I mean, I can go on. And people looking you up and down like you're, look at you, sort of thing, because they have an issue with that. I'm trying to get through life. You know, I have trauma, I have all these things I have to deal with. And then I have to deal with people looking at me like I'm a skinny wick. And how dare you be so thin? That's not my problem to have to deal with.
Do you think if somebody gets that early on, and clearly you did, about body image, and you know, in today's world now, there's a lot of bullying in relation to body image. Do you think that with the trauma attached to that the body image problems would have exacerbated that trauma and added another string to that bow, whereby it wasn't just trying to get through life with the trauma, but you're also, you know, worried about the fact that people thought you were underweight, or you know, you needed more to eat. Did that create another problem? And then if you look at your bikini shots now, and then you look at where you were before with the anorexia, yeah, big difference.
There is a big difference, and when I was younger, not just the fact I was slim, I didn't wear makeup, I didn't pluck my eyebrows, I didn't pluck my body from head to foot, I didn't have my hair a certain way, I didn't wear high heels. I mean, it was just awful.
You were on Baywatch.
Yeah, it was awful, because I'm not a person...
That's if you get through the audition.
Yeah, I've got to learn to swim first. So
swimming's used, but you get a float.
But yes, even despite the weight, despite the fact I was slim, there was that. I didn't look like a woman. I didn't make the best of myself. I had the people saying this to me. I remember when I had short hair, a man said, "Grow your hair, look like a boy." It was horrendous. And when you've got trauma, you already feel lesser than. Because I was brought up with attrition and control and being looked down at. And that just made it so much worse. Because I thought, well, goodness, I mean, I'm not like everybody else. You don't feel like anybody else. And people are telling you you're not like everybody else. You don't fit in because you don't look, or you're not doing this, or you do look that way. You can't win. You just can't win.
So you're at that point. And remember, this is not just about your journey, because obviously it is about your journey. This is trying to get across to people who are listening in, you know, ways that they could maybe overcome the problems they've got, or maybe, you know, acquire some tools to help them to fix what's wrong. What message would you send out to them if you go from the anorexia to where you are now, and the journey from anorexic to where you are now? What kind of tools would you offer people? What kind of advice based on your journey? Because the shots are good. When people see them, it's quite clear that they are good. It's quite clear you've got a figure now which a lot of people would die for, basically. It's not about the figure, and we know that. But that journey from where you were underweight and get a lot of comments about how
Yeah.
underweight you were. The competitions around that. Where you are now, which is in a stronger place
Yes.
than before, what about that gap in between, that journey? What about the tools and message out to people now listening that would like to aspire to get to a better place? Not just your place, but a better place.
I think for me, because it was a physical thing, connecting to the physical thing, not how you look, is how it makes you feel. Does it make you physically feel stronger? Do you feel you have more endurance? Are you achieving in some way and it makes you feel better about yourself emotionally as a person? It's personal. And focus on that. You know, what other people might think is up to them. This has to be something you personally connect to. So that's how it's been for me. Yes, I've changed physically. I wasn't really thinking about it, but I actually look at that change physically in a positive way for me. But it's also connected to the exercise and the working out and my reasons for that, to be physically stronger and look healthier. So to come from that stance, I feel is a more healthier way to see it, rather than coming from I want to look wonderful, because you're never going to be happy about that, and that's not necessarily going to help you mentally and emotionally. That's my thoughts on
So your feelings then, back in anorexic chick days, to potential Baywatch material now, when you're doing your posing,
yeah,
right, when you're doing your poses, because clearly this is early days for you, because
Yeah.
you haven't really done a great deal on that side, and this was something that you have kind of taken to. It's you. When you're posing,
yeah,
you're not posing in a way where you're going to be seen. You're posing because you would like to inform people of your progress, obviously.
yeah.
So the feelings back then when you were anorexic to the feelings now when you're posing, what goes through your mind when you're doing those poses as opposed to how you felt going back?
Well, one of the things is I'm thinking about it's been informative. Right, this is informative for me. The photographs are also for me; they're not just for everybody else. I look at those and I see where I am physically, and now I adapt my training. I use it for that. So when I'm doing the posing, that's what I'm thinking about. Right, okay, how do I show my body in a way that you can see how the muscles are developing? It's an informative thing. So that other people can look and say, okay, I can do a yoga type pose, take photographs, and I can see what's happening to me, and I can adapt my training so I can achieve more or develop more in a natural way. And that's what it's for. It's informative for me and for anybody who might be following the page who wants to do something similar. And that's where my head is. It's nowhere else. That's what I'm thinking about.
And again, this is not a trick question. So you looked at yourself when you're anorexic and you're underweight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I shared those photographs as well so that you could see the progress, because it was hard at that time. When I was walking around in like a crop top and leggings or shorts, when I was very thin, that was hard. But I did it because I was going to overheat and I wasn't going to be comfortable, and I was trying to do some kind of exercises. But I knew that was not going to be easy for me. That was me facing my own fears of exposing myself in some ways. Physically, I didn't like doing it, but by doing it, I built up my confidence. But it was to show people that I went through that stage. I was thin and I looked weak, and it was to showcase that. Because if you don't see that, you don't see your own journey of where you're at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, there was a TV programme on, and I used to like watching it, because I thought, I mean, this person who actually presented the programme wasn't a psychologist, he wasn't a therapist or whatever, but he had a really good sense of fashion and how people, I think he was Gok Wan?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I remember.
Gok Wan.
Yeah.
Now, he used to get people to face up to how they really looked, and just to make the best of themselves and try to, wear a particular colour or a particular style or whatever.
Yeah. I used to like that programme.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of truth in that, is that the hardest part of the battle is to actually accept and face what you look like and who you are at that particular point.
Yeah. Yes,
and I don't think people can move on until they do that. You've really got to think, okay, yeah, I'm underweight, I look like this or whatever, but okay, I'll do what I can. What can I do?
And also, what else was hard about that? When we did the training, there was just the 3 or the 4 of us here, so it wasn't so bad. I was comfortable. When I was going out in shorts and a crop top, or leggings and a crop top, or running stuff in public, because I was exercising, maybe making a long walk or whatever, that was tough, because you can see people looking. I could see people looking. And you can almost know what's in their head. Oh, she looks like she needs a blooming good feeding. What's she doing? Walking around looking. You
Not just me.
You can see it, can't you? You can see it on the face. Disapproval, whatever. You could see it, and that's another side to that. That's facing that and being able to face that and being comfortable enough to do it, because that's part of that trauma that's held you back. That fear. I've got to hide myself because then people won't see me. And that's okay, I'll be invisible. So you're making yourself visible in public. It's a very difficult one really to explain, but that's what you're doing, and comfortable with that, and being able to ignore what's going on around you.
So, again, we're going to touch on this on a different podcast, but I think it's crucial at this particular point in time. So, are we saying then that if you're underweight, or you're overweight, because the two poles can be equally as difficult. Are you worried and upset because you're underweight, or are you worried and upset because of what people say to you?
I think both. I think if you're struggling with something, in how you look, and I mean, it's not like I didn't try to be normal weight. It's just that because of the bowel disease, I just couldn't keep the weight on, and people don't know your story, they don't know what you're going through. So people will sometimes, you can hear, they think you can't hear, but they'll say things. And because I also can read lips a little bit because of my deafness, you can see people looking and then muttering, and you just want to hide because it knocks your confidence and your self-esteem. So to stand in that space and know that people are going to be doing that is very hard. And one of the things I found I could do it better is because I used to do that was with yourself, and I felt safe because I knew I was with you, and because I felt safer with you, I had that little bit more confidence to do that and ignore what was going on around me. And the more I did that, the more comfortable I became in my own skin. And I'd noticed my training became better, the benefits became better because I could do it, I connected to everything much better. So it's all part of the same journey.
So you're doing it for you and not for other people?
Yes, but you'd still have to deal with what's coming, you have to deal with how you feel about what's going on around you.
So the old soundbite of, and it's a classic, don't worry about what people say.
That's very difficult to do, very, very difficult to do. I mean, I've always worried, I've always not liked tension. I've always hid away from it. I was only ever comfortable if people dealt with me as a person and not how I looked. Not bothered about if my hair wasn't combed that day, or I didn't wear makeup, or I didn't pluck my bloody eye, or I wasn't dressed a certain way, I was too thin, or whatever it was that people didn't like. If I wasn't dealing with that, I felt comfortable, but you can tell people cannot hide it. It's in the body language, it's how they look at you. I've had some awful looks, and you're like...
So you go from there to YouTube in a bikini.
But
now, the difference for me is...
How do you get there?
Is that this journey has been done for you. And not for other people. And I think we started with the bikini issue. Well, it wasn't an issue, it was a topic.
Yeah.
You reached a point where you were doing this for you. It improved the way that you looked. It improved the way that you felt you looked and not
Yeah.
what other people felt. So this is not something that you've done for the aesthetic, although part of it is because you like the way you look now.
Yeah.
If we're looking at, say, someone that's overweight,
Yeah.
and never used to be overweight, but their life's gone a certain way and have kind of got quite, like Nigel did, almost 23 stone. He wasn't happy with what he was like. Now, if you're unhappy with your body shape and you get comments from other people, or maybe your partner's like the way you look or
Yeah.
whatever, would you say to people, right, don't do something about that because of people saying something. Do it because you're not happy with your
Yeah.
body image.
I think it has to be something that important to you, because there are people in life you will never please. I mean, if you were overweight and you became normal weight and you looked wonderful, there'll be somebody that doesn't like you and be jealous of that. You know, it doesn't matter for a lot of people. You're never going to please them. It's not about them, it's about pleasing you, it's about how you feel about yourself. And if you feel better about yourself, it will improve your emotional and mental health. It comes with that. It helps you deal with things better because you're more comfortable with you. So, health, everything to do with physical health is yours. It's you that connects to that. If you want to be physically healthier, then you deal with that yourself. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. I mean, maybe a doctor will say to you, you have to improve your health, but it has to be you that connects to it.
So, I mean, I know the answer to these questions anyway, but I'm going to ask them anyway. So do you think this is about being the best you can be for you and not for other people? Changing your body shape because you're not happy about your body shape, because you're not happy about it, but not because you've seen somebody else and you want to be like them. Because we discussed earlier about society. We do live in a very, very aesthetic, narcissistic society. I think it's always been around, but it just seems to be more prevalent now. I don't know. Everybody's trying to look perfect now. And the reason why they're doing that quite often is because they're trying to live up to a particular image that's been put out there. So if we go back again to your anorexic days and where you're at now with your Bikini Baywatch shoots, do you think that the message to people listening would be, do this for you and not for anybody else, and when you feel as though you're improving your shape, that you feel better about yourself, that's more important than trying to live up to a particular image or stereotype?
It has to be more important, because otherwise you won't stay with what it is you want to do, and also it's a life change. If you go on a diet or you go on some kind of fitness regime for a short time because you want to change the way you look, because you want to aspire to something or fit in or be like Love Island or whatever it is, you'll only stick to it for so long because you won't get to where you want to be, you won't be happy, you'll never be happy. So it'll be a stressful situation, you'll call yourself about anxiety. Aren't you supposed to be dealing with the stress and anxiety and your mental health to improve it? That's not going to improve it. So this is a life change. This is how you want to live your life for the rest of your life. Not for anybody else, not to look like a model. And let's be honest, most of those people don't look natural anyways because they've had work done. Or they're plastered with makeup, which is actually toxins in your body and your skin. You know, in my photographs, there's not a scrap of makeup on, and half the time I haven't even combed my hair because it's not. It's not about that. Yeah. I mean, you'll quite often see bruises.
I put a comment on here.
Quite often you'll see bruises on this because I walk into things, but I'm not. This is not about looking you dolled up to look a certain way. This is just about being natural. Well, I hope that's how it comes over, because it is about being natural.
So, if somebody said to you, "You've got beautiful shoulders," how would you respond?
Oh, thank you. Do you like my tattoos?
Yeah, and I think that's another aspect as well, because there are people out there, genuine people, who can admire the female form or the male form without making it something seedy.
Yeah.
They can genuinely appreciate that beauty and that length that you show.
Yes,
actual
I've got
pictures?
I look longer now, strangely enough, by having muscle on my limbs, lean muscle. I actually look longer, which was a kind of a surprise.
So the message for short people
And I'm not that tall.
get lots of lean muscle. And if you're 2'6" now, you can aspire to be 6'6". Get some lean muscle on you. I think physiologically that wouldn't quite work, but I know where Trey's coming from.
Yes, I don't. It is strange that, and also if you notice, people who are quite often on steroids that look shorter because they're like bulky, whereas I'm looking longer because it's just natural. You know, it's a natural workout. It's hard work, but it's natural. There's no supplements and stuff. So my arms, it's because they're more noticeable, because the muscles are more noticeable, I think, and you see it. You see the length in your limbs. So yeah, I find that fascinating, and that's something else as well. I find interesting. It's interesting to see how my body's changing. It's fascinating, isn't it? You know, I've connected to how the body works more, because that's fascinating. It's by biology and stuff, isn't it? That's great.
Yeah, because I think you mentioned, or we mentioned on a previous podcast about it doesn't have to be physical. It's just something that kind of turns you on in relation to, I'm passionate about this, I want to do that. And then it goes through different levels, and you know, you take it up to a higher level, which is what you've done with the physical side.
Yeah.
So, you know, we don't just want to focus on the physical, although this is Trey's journey. It might be something totally different that you get into,
yes,
but you can be equally as passionate about.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing, really, because when you become passionate about it, you get engrossed and you connect to it more. And on a physical side, you know, anybody with trauma, if they are watching my page, and they'll go, oh, how come she can do that when she says she's suffered from trauma? I don't feel like that. And yes, I know exactly what it feels like not to want to be out there. But if you connect to yourself in a way that's interesting and captivating and engrossing, because it's developing yourself in a certain way, then you will showcase that in a more comfortable way. And it's the same when I'm showcasing my cards and I showcase my coloured projects. I'm putting myself out there. People can criticise what I do, but I feel comfortable in what I'm showing. And look, I've just done this and I'm really proud about that. So this is the same thing. Yeah,
so before we round off, because we're nearing the end of the podcast, just talk me through, because this is crucial for people listening, massive step to do what you did.
Yes.
To go from, you know, a really low self-esteem, low self-confidence, low self-worth, going back over the years, elements of which will still be around, but you've improved a lot. Talk me through the journey from the decision to show those pictures, the journey in Asda, a little bit of plug for Asda there, to purchase the bikini, and then actually putting it on and showing yourself. Talk me through that journey, because this is crucial for people listening.
Well, the first option for the bikini came up because we realised that when I was trying to do photographs with my shorts on, I couldn't see how my legs were developing properly. It was cutting the line between your legs into your abs and so forth, because it's all connected, and that's the biology side of things, the anatomy side of things, and I couldn't see it because of my shorts, and so we decided, and also the top I was wearing, it was too covered, you couldn't see how the muscles were working. I thought, if I'm going to connect to that, I need to be able to see photographs where I can see what's going on. So, right, okay, I need a bikini. When I went for the bikini, it's not going to be a skimpy bloody thing, because I'm not having that. So I've got a bikini that I was comfortable in. You know, it's not some thong with a tiny wee bit that just covers your nipples. Not interested in that. I wanted something I would be comfortable in, for me to look at. When we did the first photographs, I looked and went, oh yes, I can see such. You know something, this is really interesting, this. This is interesting to see the connection between what I'm doing, because I want to do a video on how I do my workouts and how it's affecting my body. I can see it now. Right. If I can see it now, maybe other people will find that interesting. They can see it, because the only way they're going to see it is by me.
Yeah, because you couldn't see before, could you? And I know you'd mentioned about some of the female bodybuilders where they were actually wearing quite kind of, and again, I'm not going to get into judging because people, if they want to, but you wanted to be able to show your form, with less on. Yeah, but not in the kind of way
not
that the bodybuilders
they wear quite skimpy things for the competitions, and I didn't want that.
I think maybe skimpy is a bit of an adjective that perhaps has a bit of baggage to it. Yeah. I mean, if that's what they like, that's
it was
up to them.
Was more exposed than I would be comfortable with.
Yeah, and I think it may be. Well, me personally thought it was going too far, because I think it was more driven by the male judges and the actual female.
I mean, I can get it, because they're looking to see how the muscles are developing, but it was more than I could be caught with. However, I could see the reasons why you needed less clothes, because you can't see some of those development in your legs and how your muscles are connected. So I got my head around that. We did it. We took the photographs, and I remember saying to you, you know something, because it's a movement. That's the other thing. I noticed certain stances. Okay, I had a basic stance, and you had to see, and then I could see it differently. But we had to look at it through movement. Again, I connected to that. All right, so this is interesting. So people could take a photograph of themselves, so they can see how they look just standing relaxed, and then they take photographs of themselves in a certain poses. So they can see the muscles, and then they've got that as a starting point. And then they can follow that. Every 2 or 3 weeks, take more, and then you can see what's developing from there to there. It's an analytical thing for me.
So do you think that the analytical aspect took over from the body image issues that you originally had?
I didn't even connect to that. It completely overrode any problems I had about exposing myself in a bikini, because I was totally focused, and I still am, on the reasons for it. You can see how your body's working, you can connect to your workouts better, you can see your achievements. All this is positive. So, right, I can do this. Now, you don't have to do what I'm doing and put it on the internet, but the reason I'm putting it up is to help other people make that decision for themselves. So they can see themselves, even if it's just personal, their photographs on their phone, right, I can see that. But they're looking at themselves and connecting to themselves. Don't have to share it with anybody else, but they still have to do that, because I wouldn't even do that in the past. I wouldn't even look at myself in a photograph with a bikini. Wouldn't do it. Didn't even like a pair of shorts and a workout gear. Struggled with that. I had to get over that to be able to connect to what I was doing.
So the feelings from the days of, I know you used the word anorexia, and I know you were underweight, because I remember when
other people thought of me as
I didn't really see it as underweight, as more kind of fragile.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously we've talked about it, but I struggled because I was very slim when I was younger, and of course I got all the usual sound bites, and need a good chatty dinner and all the rest of it, which eventually obviously I realised wasn't my issue, it was their issue. And through training I started to put lean muscle on, and I was quite happy about that, because I felt good, not because it was appeasing the people who, had said that I should put weight on. It was because I felt good about it. So feeling wise, from the days of anorexia, your words, to how you feel when you pose, what's the difference in those feelings?
When I'm posing and I see those photographs, I connect to how I've developed physically stronger, and I don't look ill, and that's a real achievement for me. That's what I wanted. I wanted to get away from ill. I wanted to get away from that fragile, underweight state, that atrophic state, and now I have done that, and I've really liked that. I mean, I feel so that it's been hard work, and I still have to maintain that. It's still hard work, but I look healthier. And that's good for me, because that's what I wanted.
So you think that health also comes from within?
Yes, because as you look healthier, you feel better about yourself, so it's a dual thing. Emotionally and mentally you feel better about yourself, because physically you're moving away from a bad place. It doesn't matter if you're overweight and you're coming to normal weight, or you're underweight coming to normal weight, it's still getting to a better place. So yeah, it's good, it's nice.
So just for Klaus and the Baywatch producers, what's the way forward now in relation to your physical journey and your journey through trauma? What's the next step, do you think?
Physically, I have connected to myself in a way I didn't expect, because I was just looking to get physically stronger and get to healthy body weight. Now I'm looking at myself and seeing the benefits of the workouts I've been doing, and I would like to see more lean muscle. I know I'll have to work on that, but I would feel better. I like the idea of that. For me, I like that. I like to see all that hard work, and you can see it for me, and that's what I want.
So this is more kind of Michelangelo really, rather than bodybuilding.
Oh no,
this is about the anatomy of a human being. Obviously, in your case, it's female, and an expression of that. And I know Michelangelo did it through art.
Yeah.
He expressed the human body through art. I mean, many people did, but he was the one that kind of brought it out there. So this is more about that than just bodybuilding, because bodybuilding tends to go...
they tend to be a lot bigger. I tell you, the kind of body I've seen and I like, and they all look so healthy, is people who do a lot of yoga and all that lean muscle. Now, I didn't think I would ever get a body like that. I now look at myself and think, oh, actually, I'm starting to look a wee bit like those people I've seen who've done yoga for years, and they look quite lean and strong. Yeah.
I know the ones you mean, because I've seen them.
Athletic, yeah. And that's nice. I like that because it's personal pride in myself. You know, some people express that in different ways. I don't wear makeup and stuff like that. This is how I express that. I want to feel good about myself, and this is how I express that.
But it isn't wrong to wear some makeup if it say highlights a particular part of you that's body anywhere. There's nothing wrong with that. I think you're talking more about the superficial wear.
No, when you wear a DVD, because you can't work.
And you can't leave the house unless
you've got it on. I wear makeup maybe once or twice a year to go somewhere. If I'm going somewhere special, I like to put a little bit of makeup on. That's fine. I'm talking about when it's on all the time. Some people use that because that makes them feel better. I'm doing something that is healthy for me. It's natural. It keeps me growing older, healthier, and I look healthier. And that's what I'm doing it for, and I like that. I like to look healthier because I come from a place where I didn't, and it really bothered me. You know, I was failing. I mean, I was in my mid-40s and I was told I might need a hip replacement. I couldn't get my head around that. When I was going towards, later 40s, only in my 40s, and I was physically failing. I was falling down, I was physically weak. I had no endurance. I mean, that was a scary place to be. I was only going towards my late 40s. What was going to be like when I was 60? So now I feel I've got into my early 50s and I've turned a corner. I'm going to be going into my older age healthier. That's what's important to me. And seeing it, you can see it, and that's really good.
So would you, if someone's sitting at home and they listen to this podcast and they're carrying, quite a bit of weight that they would never like when they were younger, and they probably look back to those days and think, oh, I wish I was like that again. Do you think that those self-same feelings will be the case with someone that's overweight?
Yes, because being overweight is unhealthy, just like being underweight is unhealthy. And you're going to be facing all kinds of health issues: stroke, heart attacks, diabetes, septicemia, your circulation problems, and it's not good, you know, internal fat, and even the liver can pack in because of the fat in the liver. So if you're in your 40s and you start to notice that things are getting difficult for you, what's it going to be like when you're in your 50s and your 60s? Are you going to get to 60? And that, to connect to your health in a way that's positive to get you to a better place, it's good for you as a person.
So don't continue to be down about it, and maybe eat more because you're down. Just actually do something.
Yeah, I mean, turn the corner, make a decision. That it's almost, to me, I would say it was like you want to live instead of just dying, because when you're failing like that, your body is failing, and you're looking at an early death. I didn't want that. I didn't want to be a cripple. I didn't want to be disabled. Is that what you want? Is that what you're going to be looking? That's what you'll be looking at. Is that your future? Do you want that? And if you don't want that, change it for you. Change it for the best.
Yeah, and also your mental health as well. Your mental outlook, because you will become a lot happier in yourself.
Yeah.
And that's quite clear in your pictures on the on YouTube, on your Facebook page. So just to round off now, because I think we've reached the point where we've not exhausted, but we've covered most of the bases that we wanted to cover. Bear watch.
I can't swim. I'm not going to get on.
So
I can run down the beach.
If the producers wanted you so badly and you couldn't swim, and they hadn't got time to get you to learn to swim, and they offered you the job of just running up and down the beach, would you get a different bikini?
I don't know about that. I'll get a red one in the
swimsuit. Yeah.
Swimsuit. I could do a swimsuit as long as it wasn't too plunging.
I mean, this is for the male followers of Trace's page. So you'd get a different coloured bikini.
They can get their own bikinis, men. They can get mankinis. They don't have to.
Well, yeah, that's maybe a bit too far. But you do intend to continue to post pictures and let people see your progression over the coming months.
Because it's part of my journey, and it's a part of how I'm dealing with my physical and mental health. It's part of how I deal with trauma. And
you mentioned yoga.
Yeah.
Will you be introducing more yoga poses into your...
Yes, I hope to. I'm going to be using ones I feel that will show the muscular and the anatomy. So I won't be using all of them, but the ones I feel that will show off where I've maybe adapted my training, and this is, how I've changed or how my body's changed because of that. And it'll lead into being able to showcase, because I would like to do videos of how I've done my training. How I use resistant bands, I use weights, and dumbbells and bars and free weight stuff to work my body. How I've talk about how I've coped with the difficulties physically because it affects you mentally. It's when you've got trauma, when you're in discomfort and it's hard, you just want to go and lie in a room and go, I cannot be bothered with that. So you've got to connect to your goals in some way, and how it helps you to get over that mental blockage. Because you do get it. There is times I'm like, I just don't care. It's just too hard.
Yeah, I think you'd said some time back there, it's not going to be an easy journey, and there's going to be, difficult parts along the way, and you're never going to get to nirvana, but you will get to a better place where you feel better about yourself. And I think, it's all very well people looking at the pictures and listening to you on the podcast, but there's still going to be difficult times in there. But I think the message is really just push on, keep on doing it.
Yeah, and by connecting to your workouts and connect to how it affects you physically as well, and how you change your appearance, it helps you with the downsides. It helps you when you just don't want to do it. You just don't, not today.
Yeah, and be proud of the achievements and, how you got there.
Yeah. It motivates you see. The other end of it motivates you through the difficult times.
Yeah, and I think, just to round off, it's the message I think to people now is just, have a go. It's not all dark.
No.
And there will be days where, you maybe struggle, but always look for the light. And, maybe one day you will be auditioned for Baywatch. But again, it could be something, some other activity that you're really into. It might be you like walking and you like to post pictures of particular walks you've been on where you've maybe lost a bit of weight, look a bit healthy, a bit fresher because you've been out in the fresh air. So it doesn't have to be just, the physical side. It could be something less physical. It might be an activity, maybe like you're doing the drawing and things like that. Oh yeah,
we're doing colour work and making paper craft and that. I enjoy that as well. I get a chance.
Yeah, or even just taking photographs, I mean, I've got a friend, Kelly, who I've mentioned before there, who struggled with deafness, and she's kind of getting into camera work. It could be, posting pictures of your pictures or out and about taking pictures and, kind of get into it because... why not?
Yeah.
The other side is darkness. So, any final words, Trey, on this podcast?
Eventually I'll get another bikini that's not black. So you can see a little bit of a change. I don't know when it's summer because there's nothing in the shops at the minute.
Yeah, I know a lot of Trey's male followers on YouTube will be interested in the bikini more than the actual activity, but this is really not about the bikini. This is about Trey's journey through trauma. But nothing wrong with liking the bikini. But she says she's going to get some different colours and maybe if you're lucky, she'll get a red swimsuit.
Yes, maybe if I manage to I might get some with dots on or something.
Polka dot, yeah. So thanks for listening, folks. I hope that a lot of that has been useful to you. I know it has been to Trey, especially because she's done really well on this journey, and the journey's still ongoing.
Yes, it is.
And we'll be back next time, and we'll follow up on where she's at, and you can see anywhere if you visit her page. What's your page called again?
It's a Journey with Trauma by Trey.
Yeah, so if you check that out on FB, you'll be able to keep a check on her progress.
Yeah. And
for the male followers, you'll be able to keep a check on the bikini.
Yeah, just no comments.
No comments, unless they're constructive.
Yeah.
And we'll be back to follow up with that, and we're going to do another podcast we mentioned earlier, didn't we?
Yes.
About how you do things to appease others, and you react in ways that's detrimental to you, because like Trey mentioned about being underweight, and people can be quite cruel. And then also if you're overweight, people can be very, very cruel about when you're overweight, so therefore you kind of get into a vortex of, well, it doesn't really matter anywhere, does it? So you eat more and you get bigger, you feel unhappy. So we're going to explore that. It's more psychological, but it still ties in with Trey's journey. And I think that's a wrap.
That is.
Thank you.